Hey Internet, it's Andrew with Knights of the Drunk Watch, and we're here to review episode 3 of The Haunting of Bly Manor. The Two Faces, part 1. We're the Knights of the Drunk Watch, and
And
now our
now
talk,
our talk
begins. Since I've been starting all these talkbacks with this, so The Two Faces is another short story by Henry James, which I guess is because I guess the turning of the screw really doesn't give you much backstory on Rebecca and Peter. So I think their backstory, their relationship, I guess, is coming from the Two Faces, the details of their relationship. And this is where we see that Peter picks flowers the same way that Miles offered them as an apology.
Yeah.
Can I just take this moment to take a big old gulp for how ridiculously attractive this actor is? I just want to does anybody know if that is his natural accent or if his Ben accent was his natural accent?
That's his panty dropping accent, Audie.
I mean,
just a quick IMDb will tell you where he's actually from.
One thing we know from this episode, because Rebecca deals with it, the muddy footprints are not Peter or Rebecca.
Correct.
Because, of course, what they all talk about, too, I guess I didn't write this down. What they all talk about is that Peter ran off with the money and Rebecca died. But we're also assuming that whether Peter actually meant to not come back or not, he's dead because he's a ghost here. Yes, Adi.
The thing that's part of this episode, and I think it was introduced in previous episodes that we haven't discussed yet, is the Lady of the Lake and the little doll that represents the Lady of the Lake. So clearly there is some kind of scary ghost story that predates all of this madness that is going on, including Rebecca. So that's my guess for who is leaving the footprints behind.
I have something.
It's the Lady of the Lake.
Yes, I have something.
So Flora is probably blaming the Lady of the Lake on Rebecca's death and is afraid that Dani will meet the same fate.
Because we keep seeing the dolls kind of make this subtle little hint throughout all the episodes. When we first saw them, I had this suspicion that her dolls were where her dolls were to keep ghosts where they are. And then of course, like every scary movie, the dolls move magically, or they fall down chutes and then they land standing perfectly straight up, staring at you.
We didn't talk about we didn't talk about the dolls in the basement, or that one of them moved after Dani left.
And that seems to be kind of a thing. It's almost as though the dolls where they are is where they're supposed to be, possibly, or where they should remain.
Real quick, do you guys think that, and this is a part of the speculation because I don't have an answer for this yet, people who have seen it don't answer it. Do you guys think that Flora exerts power over the ghosts with placing these dolls? Like she's keeping them? You're not allowed to answer, Thomas. Or do you think that she is just tracking them essentially?
No, without giving anything away, Travis touched on it because I keyed in on it too. The dollhouse, you don't have to pause it, but if you look, you can see Flora, you can see Miles, you can see Dani, and there are a bunch of other characters within the house. And then you also see Flora has one with her, Miles has something with her. There's other ones scattered. You found the one on the floor that Dani picked up and probably shouldn't have, wound up in the thing. Like, I definitely thought Flora is going to be this little puppet mistress doing it the entire time by this point, because that was just a huge setup for the damn house.
I think that we've gotten a lot of evidence at this point that Flora is extremely attuned to these ghosts. And so I think they are just like a physical representation for her of these ghosts, and maybe even like she sees so many that she has to keep track of them. She's like, gotta make another doll. Like, God, put a wig on this one. Like, shit.
And I think it's partly that. I agree with Kate in that, because at one point Flora is playing with the Dani doll you can't see my hand, Dani doll, walking it through the house. As Dani is walking through the house, she's mirroring her movements. So I think it's Flora keeping track of the ghosts, but I think there's also is an attempt for her to kind of keep them at bay. I think that's why she puts one at the lake. I think that's why there was one found out on the parapet, that, like she's keeping track of all the ghosts, but the bad ones, which may be Peter Quint and the Lady of the Lake, the bad ones, she's trying to keep out of the house. So we get to see Rebecca's ghost at the lake.
Yeah.
She's a pretty ghost.
Lovely.
We also, Travis, this is where we see the crack again. This time the crack is in the chapel.
I missed this.
It's there, and then it's not.
I think I missed that crack too.
And what I don't remember is, who saw that crack in the chapel? Do you remember?
No, wait.
It's her again.
Is it Hannah again, or is it Jamie?
No,
it's always Hannah.
It's always Hannah.
I thought it was the maid lady. I thought she was literally like,
that's Hannah.
Oh, that's Hannah. Okay, sorry. Because wait, isn't the first one seen by Dani?
No, always Hannah.
It's
always Hannah.
Definitely Hannah in the kitchen, and she asked Jamie to fix it.
And
I don't remember
there's nothing there.
it. Yeah. I don't remember seeing it, but now that you mention it in the chapel, Hannah does say that, like, that's new, and she references like a crack, and then she does say, like something about the lights or playing tricks on me. Go, Zach.
Yeah.
Speaking on Hannah, this is the first episode I realized Hannah always lights 4 candles and it forgets about them. This is the one I started counting the candles, and there was 4.
Mm-hmm.
Mom,
and there's
Dad.
also the sense of her like disappearing, like in her mind, like she gets lost in her own mind.
Yeah.
And just like gets pulled out of it, like, oh shit, I was somewhere.
If the theory is that mom, dad, Rebecca are 3, could, because I don't think she'd be lighting one from Peter.
Well, so
she'd be, lighting one for herself.
If they all wind up being dead, I'm gonna be angry at the show.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
I
don't
the
think
entire family is dead, and she's actually lighting them for all the family who died.
They're all in purgatory getting together again.
I know. I will be really mad if that's the ending.
I mean,
honestly,
I don't think that will be the case, because AIDS, I don't remember, but it's not Turn of the Screw. So I don't think it's going to be that obvious, because the others already did that. Now, maybe,
that's why.
Yeah, so it may be and I don't think they would do that. They would not like, oh, guess what? We are the others. Everyone would be pissed off.
Now, some of them might be dead, but not all of them.
But there's a 4th person who, assuming we're right about the 3, there's a 4th person we don't know.
Well, and I thought maybe the 2 kids are also dead. That's why she lights all 4.
Right, but
that could be another thing.
And also I think if the kids are communicating with the ghosts, having them be dead doesn't seem to work. That doesn't work for me either.
Yeah.
So Peter and Rebecca have this scene in the closed wing, and Peter himself seems a little possessed at that point.
He's unhinged.
He gets a little
He's a douche.
Dark.
Yeah, he's
a douche.
He's a con artist who has self-aggrandized.
It's that crack addiction coming back.
It's his increasing like attitude of possession over her, and like the second she does something out of what he like, he always says do this and she does it. Like it was scary for me to watch. Like I was like, okay, I'm not scared in the traditional sense, but the second that I saw him exhibit those traits, I was like, well,
because also like it's definitely a reflection of like his status with like he is the servant, the manservant basically of these upper echelon people, and so he has to reflect his feelings of that by that's how he treats other people, is on down the slide. Yeah, it's bullshit.
But she can't really, unfortunately, she can't really upset him because this is her foot in the door for higher aspirations. She can't just evade him altogether because he could start some mess with her.
But Owen's mom dies and they have a lesbian moment, which was barely even. Like, I completely, in the description where it's like she reveals herself, her love of women to Jamie. It's like she held her hand, I guess.
Yeah, when those moments start to come up in the next episode, though, I mean, I missed this prep for it. So I mean,
I
yeah.
was
It
pretty
wasn't any
sure-
prep. It was literally I had a problem, and then she grabs her hand and she says, "Oh."
Yeah, I was awake for it, and I missed that moment. Like,
Really?
I don't
That
wanna-
was like
the
next
super obvious
episode
for
to
me.
be
I was
like,
like, oh, okay.
Is that what they're trying to say with that?
I don't
setup?
want to
Wow.
toot my own horn, but I was calling that the first time Jamie walked in the room.
That's a very lesbian moment for the 80s. Like two
Yeah.
women touching hands that aren't like sister or mom or daughter. Like, I was scared. I was scared that either I thought some violence was gonna happen or like some scoffing or it had me scared.
It was a safe space, though.
Oh,
Yeah,
what?
but this is her first time. I feel like in this part of the story, like someone's gonna come out. I feel like it was like a coming out of like, I can trust you, and I was like, oh, what's gonna happen? Because if you're gay, you know, like the first time coming out to that one person can be like,
Yeah, but I mean, holding hands. I was confused by it. I was literally like, is that supposed to mean that she's, lesbian or has lesbian tendencies or she's bi? Because I was like, it's like, oh my god, people ran through the mall holding hands in the 80s. What is this about?
not if you're gay. Not if you're gay.
Only straight people.
For the first time, I think she sees the ghost
out of the mirror.
out of a reflection.
Yes.
And
That
it
was
gets
the next.
sucked into the house.
That was the next moment that I was actually scared. Like I said, guy with glasses, only scary part of this entire show to me. Because when he showed up, I was like, oh fuck.
I just keep trying to see what's in the reflection. I'm like, is that a sunset on a beach in paradise? What am I looking at here?
He's there to stay.
Has he been noticed by Flora? Was he the
That's
first
what I
ghost
thought.
that she is looking over her shoulder at and doing Flora communication? And she's possibly made a doll for him that has not been shown yet, and he's been
That's what I
assigned a
thought.
place in
I'm
the
waiting
house.
I'm waiting for a doll with glasses. That's definitely.
I'm waiting for a doll with glasses to show up.
We are the Nights of Drunk Watch, and
Now
now
our
our talk
talk
has
has
ended.
ended.